Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me again. Welcome in. If you're new here or if you've been here before, I appreciate it. My name's Renee. I live in the Pittsburgh, PA area at this point in my life, and I haven't done a catching up with you video for a while because the last one I did a couple weeks ago was my Rhinebeck recap. I wanted to record my experience while it was still fresh. So I realized that when I was putting this cardigan on, that I don't think you've seen it finished. So yeah, I've been up to a few different things, cracking away at a couple makes and learning a lot in my continued first year and a half of knitting. I think it quite literally is a year and a half this month. So yeah, lots of things, lots of learning and trial and error have gone on. But this is my Eva cardigan. I think I have a photo. I might have a photo on Instagram. If I do, I'll put it up here. But I just put these buttons on. They are from Dusty's Vintage at Rhinebeck. I was looking for buttons when I was there. I kept it at a pretty good length, except I actually knit it to, I think, the length called for, which is unusual for me, but it's not overly long, and I just wanted it for a wear-at-home cardigan. I really like where the sleeves are. They're perfect. And I was actually toying around with the idea of adding a button, because I added buttons where it tells you to add them. And I'm actually toying around with adding one right at the top, because I think there's enough of a crossover that I could do it, because I specifically didn't add one at the bottom, because if this is just something I'm wearing around the house, I have a button left. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to take this off though, so that I won't be as hot. Yeah, so this is done in an extra small. This is with Drops Daisy, and Drops Daisy relaxes a lot. It's merino, it's going to pill. Sometimes I feel like it can even start pilling a little bit while you're knitting it, but I love it, and it relaxes a lot when you block it. So I knew that extra small would give me the amount of ease that I wanted, because I didn't want a whole lot of ease. But sorry for the noise. I did mention in my other video that you make this really cool shoulder. You know, is it like a raglan? No, it's kind of like a raglan, but I guess it's compound. Yeah, I can see here where I'll insert a photo where you start with the trapezoid and then you come up around, and then you've made these like little mini saddles, and then at the end you start raglan increases. However, this is not a true raglan like the other project I was working on, which I'll get to in a second, which can be a problem for me, apparently, as we'll see. But so that was an extra small, and I really think that's the kind of raglan, almost the only kind of raglan that I can wear, because I think I'm going to have trouble with deciding the depth of a true from the beginning raglan. I've only knit one other raglan, which was the first sweater I ever made, and that turned out fine. I don't have it anymore. I donated it. It was made from acrylic, and it was fine. It was heavy and I knew that I wasn't going to wear it in the end. So eventually I donated it. But that one was the Tin Can Knits flax sweater. And I don't remember it. I just lucked out and it didn't have like a too deep raglan. You know, I didn't know that maybe raglans can sometimes go too long, just like a circular yoke where, you know, the arm connects with the body way down here. I didn't have any problems with this Eva cardigan. I cannot recommend this pattern enough. And it has the like ribbed button band, nice and chunky. But also just refined at the same time. I really like that. So the other thing that I've been up to is using some of the yarn that I picked up at Rhinebeck. And one of the two yarns, the two colors of yarn that I picked up at Ewetopia was this ridge fingering weight wool, 100% Midwest wool, including Targhee, Rambouillet, Merino, and CVM Rommeldale. So I picked up two colors, Daylily Heather and Warm Temps Heather. And I think, so I ended up making a sock and then starting another one. But you'll notice that the end of the foot is the lighter color, which is, I think, Daylily. And then this is Warmer Temps. These were 50-gram skeins, so I just wanted to break it up and use both. And this multicolored was unlabeled mini, and I bought two of these. And I think you can find what this colorway is on the website. I think I found it, but I don't remember right now what it is. If I find it again, I will put it down below. I love this color so much because this is what happens. And then I did a slip stitch pattern from Brianna Arlene's sock pattern, the recent one that she released, which I'll put down below. But yeah, these are rustic. It's 100% wool. I love that for like boots. I made most of this in a size 0 needle, and then it just became too hard to do that. I even made the heel with the 0, but then it was okay here, but then I decided like I can change to a 1 now. And so I ended up changing to a size US 1, which I think is 2.25. I think a 0 is 2 millimeter. Yeah, I love this woolly wool though. I really do. So I have, when I'm starting a sock, I start both, and then I just put this on hold and I come back to it whenever I want. I will finish this when I get back from a trip. I am going away for a few days in a couple days. And I don't want to take this particular sock project with me because, as I said, the wool is plumpier than like superwash. So, and it's tough on my hands. So I'll just wait until I get back to finish it. I can't tell you how much I'm loving this yarn. This is going to be high on my list to get again. I really recommend checking out their website. Where are they based? I think it's in the Midwest somewhere. I don't think, oh, yeah, Wisconsin. So that's Ewetopia yarn. That was really, really fun. What I am going to take with me as a sock project is, I'll show you the yarn. So I'm going to take this leftover from socks I've already made. This is actually kinetic knitter yarn that I got in a, what's that called? White Elephant. At one of my local yarn shops had a white elephant at Christmas time. And I got this skein, and I have fallen in love with this dyer, but she's taken a break. I happen to love like gray tones that are dyed, because this is how it turns out. Just look at those. Look at those colors. What I love about these speckles, I guess you could call them, is the brown tones in there, along with highlighter, yellow, green, and fuchsia. So I love this so much, and I have so much left over that I thought that I would take this and do cuffs, and I would do a slip stitch mid-foot again, and I would, for the main part, use this that I just got from Rhinebeck, from New York Sheep and Wool. Fiber MacGyvers, roasted pecan, merino twist, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. I'm only going to wind off half of this, and then, in other words, make 2 balls, cakes, and take one with me so that I'm not carrying a full 100 grams when I don't need it. So that's what I'm going to do. And I don't buy that much sock yarn, like indie dyed sock yarn. So when I get it, it's a real treat. The only other sock yarn that I've bought is I've either gotten as a gift through some kind of stuff like this, the white elephant, or I've gotten from Knit Picks Hawthorne and things like that. I'm trying to think what else I have, but yeah, things like that. So this is a real treat for me to have this Ewetopia and this and this. So I can't wait to combine these two. It's going to be really fun. Yeah, so that's what I'll travel with, and I'm really excited. I have to skein this up this afternoon and get everything going. I'll be using my size 0 circulars. So I have all of that ready in my bag. And when I'm traveling, like most of you, I have this little to-go bag, which has a crochet hook in it, because this is how I pick up stitches for the heel. Some stitch markers, but they're not my favorite. I like the light bulb ones. I have a big darning needle, which is not my favorite. That's why it's in here. And then a retracting tape measure, and then these sharp as all get out scissors. These are like little razors. You have to be very careful, but the perfect size and weight, and with the protector for travel. So I'll put some more light bulb stitchers in here, stitch markers, before I go. But yeah, I just keep everything in here. Oh, and scrap yarn for putting stitches on hold. And then it goes in my backpack that I'm traveling with and ready to go. So that's good. I use the 9-inch circulars, and then the Crazy Sock Lady recipe. I do use now 56 stitches. After a lot of trial and error, that's what I use. So, okay, what else? Let me look on my, oh yeah, okay, I have something to talk about that I'm frogging, but before I get there, I wanted to show you something that I started that I'm really, really excited about. So this chair right here, for a while, I had my daughter's rain or shine blanket from Stephen West hanging on it because I needed to sew in the ends. That turned out to take, it always takes less time than you think, doesn't it? I make so many striped things that you would think I would know by now, like actually doesn't take as long as you think. And I do like a little bit of weave-in Steven method, but I don't keep weaving it in the whole way. So there's always bits that I have to trim or knot. I did a lot of knotting and then just cutting off the ends. So it wasn't nearly, I mean, I wanted to give it to her before the wedding because I had it done months before the wedding, and it just sat there and became like a mainstay. And it's so cushy, and my cat likes it. So yeah, I finally gave it to her. But I miss it, and I have lots of linen quill minis left over. So I thought I would just start another one, and I'm not going to make it as long because I really just like it for a decoration, either here or downstairs. It is such a pretty thing to have over a couch or a chair. And I got these linen quill minis. And once again, I'm just going in order. You know, you hold two colors together. So here, and then here, and then here, and then here, has all of the colors written on the back. So you just pull them out of the bin and off you go. So I've started one again. And again, as I said, I'm not going to go as far as I did. I'm just going to go long enough to, let me get this on the wire. So what happens with this is it has an I cord on both sides, and the minute that you block it and you lay it out, these sides relax so much. This is like the one and only thing I've ever pinned to get it to stretch. And what I did was, because this tightness was bothering me, I did up to the point of the middle where I was going to start decreasing, and I blocked that side of the triangle, and it totally relaxed because I was like, is this going to be like this really tight and weird? So I just wanted to test it out, which is what I'll do again this time. I think once I get to whatever ends up being my middle, I'll just block it and then, you know, pin the point, and then whatever this corner is, you know, just pin it so that it's straight. And this gets so floppy and, you know, pliable when it's wet. So yeah, so it becomes a fade. And, you know, it's funny because this particular color, like if you look at it the way it is now, it doesn't look very appealing. But I will insert a photo. I think I'm looking at my Ravelry. So weird. I'm going to have to add it. I know I have photos in my phone, but anyway, I will show you a photo of it. Like once it's all together in a fade, you get the idea, and it looks more cohesive. But there were color combinations that I omitted because I just didn't like these. Like when it became totally dark and dark, I just like, that's when I started managing it a little bit, which was fine. I wanted it to end the way I started it. So when I got down here, I kind of started fudging it so I would end with these combos of bright colors. But again, as I said, I'm going to really be editing down the color combinations to come to the width that I want, and then down. And as you could imagine, the wider you get, the more yarn I've used. So that's the other thing I'm going to manage. I bought a 40 pack and then I bought a 20 pack. So I have more of some colors than others, knowing that I would be using more colors. I went as wide as I was almost using the full little ball in the 8 rounds that you do of the 2 colors marled together. Let's say you've got red and orange, and then you're marling for 8, and then you drop the red, you keep the orange, and you add the pink. Then you keep going, you drop the orange, you keep the pink, you add, like, so it's like that. And it's super meditative. It would be the perfect thing to bring on a trip, but I don't want to bring a big bunch of different colors and all of that. But I love the nature of this 8 row repeat. yeah, it's really cool. I think I could definitely make like a scarf out of it. I'd have to somehow taper the ends, but yeah, that's been fun. Okay, take a sip and then I'll tell you about my Frankie sweater. On my Ravelry, I have a ton of notes on the Frankie sweater. Oh, by the way, now that I'm looking at my Ravelry, I started this on September 19th and I finished it on October 8th. Yeah, and it's a DK weight. It's all one color. I thought I would just die from boredom if I knit something in all one color, because I don't tend to do that. But you know what? I didn't, because I like a DK weight a lot. And I loved what you were doing up here. And then, of course, with a cardigan, you're always, increasing with the V-neck. And yeah, it was just enough engaging that I really enjoyed myself. I was very surprised. So when the Frankie sweater by Petite Knit came out, it was really the color combination that got me, but also just the relaxed nature of the design with the rolled neck, because I really want to make the cloud sweater. I just haven't found the right chainette yarn or blown yarn, because I've never held anything with an alpaca, which I would choose instead of mohair, just because of my sensitivity. And I haven't ever done anything in like a Camaro Snufnug or anything like that. So when this came up, it looked very cloud sweater-like, but it's a DK weight. I think she even made hers out of pure Gint. So yeah, she's using a substantial, that's a Norwegian wool. But I know it's lightweight. It's super lightweight. And I loved these colors. Now, my colors are, what are they? Hold 1 second. I will grab my colors. They are Double Sunday. Yeah. Double Sunday, Deep Burgundy, which is color 4372. And this is like a dusty blue. I don't remember the name of the dusty blue, but it's number 6051. This is the Deep Burgundy. This is very much like Drops Daisy. I am absolutely loving it. I got the dusty blue from my local yarn shop because they had enough balls of it. I had to order the Deep Burgundy from Woolen company. So yeah, this was my Frankie sweater. I had problems with it from the very beginning. My problem with it is it's supposed to be the funnel neck, which you saw in the photo, but I felt like I was like, the only way I can explain it is like, I felt like Devo, the band Devo, or Star Trek. Like, I just felt like, I don't know. I didn't like the way that the collar was standing up so high. I'll see if I have a photo of it. So I actually took it out and changed it to ribbing. I actually took out this neckline and knit up a ribbed neckline, which is fine. That looks fine. And I was willing to live with it, but the raglan, which wasn't bothering me that much when I didn't have sleeves on this thing, but it's now has a sleeve on it, and it's, well, I'll show you. I will try it on. I'm going to take my mic off, but I'm making, just for reference, I'm making an XS. extra small because, again, going back to the way that Double Sunday and Drops Daisy relaxes so much, I knew that first of all, I didn't want a really oversized sweater. And you'll see in the photo that I'm showing you from early on, it looked like I was going to be okay. But even though I think I'm on track with gauge, or very close to it, something's gone awry. So I will show you. I'll be back. Okay, you have moved so that I can show you the body of this sweater. And I've also taken my mic off. But here's what's happening with the sleeve. This sleeve has a ton of decreases in it, by the way, because it was too large for me. And I now have done enough sweaters where I know, like, okay, I know that I need to rapidly decrease down to stitches that are a certain amount that I know will work for me. So fine. But do you see how deep that raglan goes? That's more evident than it is here, right? So here I thought, okay, I'm fine. But then when you add a sleeve to it, it doesn't work for me. And then there's so much. Do you see the tenting of the back? Yeah, this tenting. Now, I tend to wear I have a turtleneck on right now. This is not how I'd be wearing it. I tend to wear my sweaters with like a camisole underneath. And then this would be out like that. And I'm just gonna put these down here. It's hard to see how much positive ease, but like a lot. I feel like if it was here and in like this and not like this, I'd be okay. So yeah, I'll go back to my desk now. So long story short on this one, I'm unhappy. And I came to that conclusion yesterday when I was happy about the tapering on the sleeve that I'm adding, but I'm not happy with how the body fits, and I don't own anything that's built like this. And that has become a key for me to say, what do I grab out of my closet in the wintertime or in the fall or winter? I like some ease in some things, but not this much. And I just knew, despite how much I really like the raglan lines and I love the color, I'm just going to have to frog it. And I'm thinking about making the Olga sweater, which will have I could change it, but the pattern has an even number of stripes in terms of rows. The size of the stripes are the same. I could, if I wanted, make it this way, but I think I would just follow the pattern, make the neckline burgundy, this collar, and yeah, I'll just have to order a little more deep burgundy from Woolen Company with no shipping, so that's good. You carry the yarn, so I don't have a bunch of, other than joining balls, I don't have a bunch of separate little stripes. So yeah, I love, by the way, I once again love this feature, which I would definitely use in other patterns, of this ribbing and then rolled. In my Desert Days sweater, it's like this, except the ribbing is longer. I really like that. So yeah, I have a lot of notes. I'm going to keep them. I'm just going to name this Frogged, so that if you want to look at my notes, you can. I forgot to say I'm using, I think it is the recommended US 6 4mm needle. And yeah, my row gauge was a little long in my swatch, but then I took my row gauge later, and I think I have a note in here. Yeah, gauge on body is 19.5 stitches by 27 to 28 rows, which I think that's what it calls for. Let me look. 30 rows. Yeah, US 6. And then I changed the ribbing needle to a US 4, 3.5mm. I learned a lot from this sweater. Yeah, I did feel like the raglan was too deep. And then I ripped back and I split for sleeves earlier. I only ripped back like 3/4 of an inch. It wasn't enough. So yeah, I guess I'll try the Olga sweater. I've always wanted to make the Olga sweater, but when I saw this, it was like the Olga sweater, but then it had the rolled collar and I wanted to try that. So I tried it. I feel like I can track it better if it's like a drop shoulder. Now, I say that, and I actually have never done a drop shoulder pattern. I've done one, but just in a way, because I made the Stornoway tee, except I made it long sleeved. So in essence, I made a drop shoulder, which was the tee, and then I added sleeves. So I know how that fits, and I liked that and thought, oh, I want to try that. And she's got this really pretty details on the back. So we'll see. I've got a couple vest patterns in mind that I'm thinking about for the future. So I don't know which I'll start first, but I wanted to go over a couple vest patterns before, or a couple patterns before we end. Okay, let's talk about some patterns. So these are just maybes or aspirational in my favorites. I saw Emily, the botanical knitter, wearing the warp vest by Sarah Ottoson. Sarah Ottoson is a designer that I'm now following on Instagram. It's an intarsia vest and it's marling. Everything about this vest, including what it looks like, how it's shaped, is right up my alley. It's worsted, but it's light fingering and light fingering held together make worsted. US 7, beautiful. I don't know when I would make it or how I would make it, but she made it out of BC Shetland, Bio Shetland Gots by BC Garn. It's a yarn that I've always wanted to touch, and I see that one of my local yarn shops actually carry it, so I could touch it for real. Yeah, I love the marling aspect. I really went crazy over it when I saw it at the Fiber MacGyver booth. A sweater, I'll just throw in, I have to throw in 2 sweaters that I'm obsessed with, but I don't think I'll be making them anytime soon, but it's aspirational, is the Moynier by Albiona McLaughlin. Apologies for the pronunciation. She made it with one of the examples is made with Cascade 220. The color combination in this photo speaks to me so much. If I don't make this sweater, then there's a sweater that I will combine a light moss green with this burgundy red. This yarn is Aran Wool 3-ply by Kerry Woolen Mills. I think it's an Irish yarn. And then Let Lope, the photos. You can make the headpiece, the photos of, and just the photos, the way the model is posed, this unique thing going on at the neckline with the circular yoke. I don't know if and when I'd ever get to this, but I had to share it because it's wintertime now and And just a couple more. The Snowflake vest, another Intarsia. I'm just determined to try Intarsia. Probably not in a big project like this. I'll probably just do something small first, or the warp vest. But there's something about this vest. First of all, I love the color shown here. This is done in Drops Air, which is, it irritates my skin. I can't wear that, but love this contrast. It's wintertime, but it's got this cinnamony color that's being used, and I love that. It's like a rust color. Does it say what color? Yeah, there's lots of different examples. I will show you just yet another one that's caught my attention by Johanna Garish. It's called the Piet Sweater. Look at this one. Now, I think that the skinnier lines are duplicate stitch, if I'm not mistaken. This is DK. It's 2 fingering weight yarns held together. And so if you just ignore the lattice and you just look at the color work going on, drop shoulder, or no, it's probably like a set-in sleeve. And then I think the lattice is duplicate stitch, which would be, wow, a lot of work. Afterwards, the sleeves are knitted directly to the body using short rows to shape the sleeves. Yeah. Last but not least, you are going to crochet the vertical stripes all over the body and sleeves. Wow. Out her Ravelry. If you're at all attracted to that, I'm telling you, you've got a lot of fun in store. And then I think I may have mentioned that I saw Lindsay Deegan on the hill at Rhinebeck. I don't know whether I would make and wear a lot of her things, but I love her. I love following her on Instagram. I have talked before about the Mazzoni sweater that I would love to make, and the Flower Power pullover with the pumpkin orange in the photo. She made it with, or this is made with Biche Bouche La Petite lamb's wool. It's a fingering weight yarn held together. Fingering plus fingering equals fingering weight. I don't exactly understand that, but okay. This is Intarsia. I follow a YouTuber that has made this in this pumpkin color. If I can remember who it is, I will list it below. Bottom up, Intarsia, amazing, just amazing. Yeah, it was so cool to see Lindsay Deegan because she was dressed a certain way. You can, if you look her up on her Instagram, very colorful. She sells clothing and then sells patterns. And there's a pattern coming out. Okay, one more thing. There's a pattern coming out Thursday that is a vest that I've had my eye on, and I love the yarn it's knit in. I have no idea what the yarn is because she hasn't given those details anywhere, but it's got this like texture cross, like diamonds, and it's a texture. It's coming out Thursday. I cannot wait to read the details. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's something that I want to knit. There's so many things. I will, before I go, I will say one thing about knitting a new pattern. When I bought the Frankie sweater, it didn't have hardly any projects on it. And I think that if I would have waited and let people knit it and put notes in, thank you for joining me. Let's see what I end up casting on in the next couple weeks. Thank you for subscribing. If you want to see me again and hope to find me on this YouTube thing, then consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. I have had so much engagement in the comments. There's somebody who, in my last video or the video before, said that they hadn't knitted garments in a very long time, and that just through watching YouTube videos, including mine, she was getting inspired again to at least jump in there and try it, and not to be so afraid of something not working out. I think that, yeah, this was disappointing. I could feel myself like wanting to keep going with that sunken cost mindset that we can get, but I now see that the big waste is not so much the waste of time in making the thing that you're going to frog, but the waste of the thing sitting in your closet with yarn in it that you're not wearing. Please let me know what you were working on. If you were working on something while watching this, many of us are when we're watching these videos, or just what you were doing, because a lot of times I've got my iPad out, I'm watching a video and I'm cleaning something or organizing something, what have you. So join us in the comments, please. Thank you for joining me again, and I'll see you soon.